800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Spoony, food and fun.
All right, we are here with the Gut Check Project. This is episode number 7. I'm Eric Krieger here with your host, Dr. Ken Brown. Dr. Brown, what's going on today?
Good morning, good morning. How are you doing?
I am doing well. How are you doing this morning?
Well, let me tell you what. I am on day number 4 of the fasting mimicking diet. How about you?
I am also on day 4 of the fasting mimicking diet, made by Prolon.
Made by Prolon. So I want to do a shout out to Dr. Joseph Antun, the CEO of Prolon, and Dr. Walter Longo, who wrote the longevity diet. They sent us some Prolon kits, and we're giving it a shot, the fasting mimicking diet.
They are, it is the fasting mimicking diet, so I am comparing it to a previous experience of doing a water fast. It's very interesting. This is far more tolerable, quite honestly. And just this morning, I did check ketone levels. I was at 2.1.
Day 3, you're supposed to start doing it. So as this day goes on, you'll probably start kicking it up a whole lot more.
Yeah. So I found that to be beneficial. It's certainly falling in line with what you want. I did comparing this to a water fast. At this point, I was giving, for being in 3.5 days, I felt like I was really ready to start eating. And then by day 4, that was enough for me. I did 4 full days of the water fast. But with Prolon, I actually feel really, really good. It's not too bad, and it's nice the way they kind of portion out every day's meals, what we're going to be eating. So
I love that music.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, better late to the party than never, right? Better late to the party than never.
Well, I'm glad you used that music. I picked that out yesterday. So, as you know, we always say, welcome to Try This Radio. It is all about the food. I am the aforementioned AAR Shanto. I don't know why and Prolong, that's a really good, that's actually a good product. So
I like that.
I had to give them a plug and thank you for them for talking about it.
Yeah.
How you doing, Miss Destination?
Darie?
That's right.
Yeah.
You left the destination off.
Yeah, I haven't been destinating too much lately, but I plan to get back with that.
Well, I guess I need to call myself Destination Shanto since I just came from Asia. So, again, thank you for coming to or listening or watching Try This Radio. We have made some very big changes, and we're going to talk about those here. We're actually going to do a 2-hour special today, I believe. Am
Absolutely.
I correct?
Yes, we are. We're going to talk about the changes that we have coming up. Obviously, we're in this beautiful Spoony Radio studio, and we're going to talk with Patrick Bozier here in a bit, and also Andy Imhoff of Pardon My Fork is going to come on. We're going to talk about what the collaboration that we're having
Yes.
For the WFC Final Table, which is really exciting. But the first segment, we're just going to talk about changes in our show.
Yes.
And we will be airing out of Spoony Studios every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Yes.
Central Standard Time. Thank you. So you can tune in on Facebook Live and also find it on iHeart and Spreaker Radio as well. So that'll be a weekly. Today is just kind of a special just to kick off and just kind of introduce what's going on and talk a bit about the project that we have coming up. And Andy's going to call in a bit. Yeah, there you go. It finally came up. Is it making noise? And so pardon any technical difficulties because I'm a bit of a dork in here, so I'm not used to being shown. So
No. It's they should never have a chef operating the board. That's the problem.
Oh my gosh, and it's Patrick, you guys. We're going to go down the rabbit hole.
30 years in a kitchen.
Now, Patrick
shouldn't be running the electronics.
Now, Patrick, I'm just the opposite of you. I'm a radio guy. Try to become a chef.
You're going the wrong direction, man. You're going the wrong direction.
I don't know. Now we have to compare notes later on.
No. Let's as long as you don't talk about pay scale, I'll be fine.
He's got my phone, so I have to take that back.
Why are you taking
I might have a top secret message coming in soon.
Oh,
also, okay. So anyway, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for your patience as we have gone through changes with the show. We really appreciate all the love and support that we've had over the last 3.5 years. This started actually when I was up here in 2015, and I met Sean, or Sean found me on Twitter, and I became, I did a blogger's corner first, and I actually went into the studio with him and we started recording shows while I was up here living for a couple months. Mm-hmm. And then he made me co-host and then producer, and then I traveled around a lot. And so it's been a real fun journey. And so now we are kind of going to try to have more of a format on our show. We just kind of like to have fun and have a conversation. And Sean, talks about Hair Dog. Oh, I brought him up.
Oh, you should have
I had
said
to give him a
anything
shout
about
out.
Hair Dog.
He was our mascot for 2 years. So.
He's still a mascot. He ain't gone yet. Oh, Hair Dog.
Anyway, so we're going to have on chefs and restaurateurs and brands and products, and try to talk more about cooking tips during each show.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the history of whoever is our guest.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to actually try to share a dish or recipe with every episode. So when you tune in, you're going to get some information that you can carry into your everyday life in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
And we really want to focus on getting people to start cooking, bonding with their families over meals, that kind of thing. But mainly just cooking techniques, and then an actual recipe like, hey, this is how you boil water. You put the water in the pan, then you try not to burn it.
I know someone who's already failed that.
Oh, no. Just me.
No, actually,
No?
she cooks better than I do.
I believe.
Oh, my good.
No, I mean,
Oh,
okay.
now, see, here we go with
I'm
the
sorry.
jokes. Remember, they can see us now.
I can't hit him.
No,
I
actually,
can't hit him now. Is that the thing?
She actually cooks very well. I remember when we were dating before she came, and she would tell me, "Oh, I'm not a good cook." She's actually really, really good. She's a classic cook because she can take ingredients and make absolutely great food. I have no idea. And it's funny because we like to cook together on Saturdays, and so she will come up with an ideal, and we just kind of both have the same ideal, but maybe different dishes.
That's fun.
Oh yeah, she's my kind of my sous chef, and my stepdaughter is my sous chef, and my daughter has learned how to cook pretty good too over the years. So,
and it's real important to get your kids in the kitchen. I think, that the next generations that are coming up really need us to step up. And there's a lot of people now that are even, maybe they didn't cook for 30 years, and now they're like, hey, I want to learn how to cook.
Mm-hmm.
It's never too late to learn how to cook and to bring that life back into your home, because I really think the kitchen is always the center of the home, y'all. That's what I'm saying at my house with 4 sons. Everybody was in the kitchen, and all their friends were in the kitchen too, because I was one of the few moms that actually cooked.
yeah.
So they all wanted to go to O'Connor's. They was like, yeah, we're going to O'Connor's because Mama O'Connor cooks. So
it's funny you said that because I have an idea for a O'Connor pork chop and waffles.
O'Connor?
O'Connor.
What's the name come from?
Yeah.
You're going to name it after me?
Yes. Yes. That's where we're sitting at, in the O'Connor Cafe.
That's right. Yes. So you guys stay tuned for lots of fun and exciting things coming up. And every week, you can just tune in and get a tidbit of information. Now, if you'd like to come on the show, you can reach out to us at trythisdishradio@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Try This Dish Radio. And I'm on Twitter at Darie_O'Connor right now. And Sean, you have not tweeted since October.
Well, we're going to get that
Trouble.
fixed. That's one of the changes that we're going to have. We're going to get a social media expert, I think. I think that's what we need to do.
I guess I'm not expert enough, but I can't do it all.
No. We
I try.
can't do it all.
Yeah. So I'm getting technical assistance here.
There you go.
I'm going to talk right into the mic.
How long, you've been doing this how long?
I know, but
Well, that's true. You've been on the phone most of the time.
yeah,
so
and
that's
I
a
sound
little
like I'm in a
different.
tin can, so with my phone. So this is kind of nice. I actually have it. Well, when we used to do work at the studio, when I was up here that one time,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that, and because I could throw things at them across, and we weren't on Facebook or anything, so I could actually do things like make hand signals and
She
stuff.
can't do that now.
No, I can't.
She can't do that now.
I'm trying to be good,
Uh,
sort of. So we're going to have Andy calling in just a minute. Patrick, we have to ask you a few questions.
Uh-oh. I didn't do it. I swear I didn't mean to touch the board. It wasn't me.
He's lying.
Okay, I did.
Hi, and thank you for having us on Spoony Radio, and thank you for all your help with the collaboration that we're going to talk about later. So we want to, I know we have, I'm not sure, 15 minutes down here. So let's talk a little bit about Patrick Mosier. Now, you are a chef and business restaurant consultant, correct?
Yeah, so I've been a chef for about 30 years, and about 15 years ago, I got my first consulting job, and that just kind of grew and grew, and I started specializing in openings, trying to give new owners the greatest advantage towards being profitable from day one that I could, especially first-time owners.
Yeah, and you asked me, how did I ever get into this radio thing? So where was the leap into media and radio?
Well, okay, so about 3.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I met Doc Thompson on another format, and he was actually living in Bentonville and doing his radio show remotely for the Blaze. Okay. And I was reopening a restaurant that had burned down. His wife came to cover. She's a news anchor up there, and she came to cover the story and said, "Hey, I think you'd really like my husband." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay, whatever." So right before
that sounded weird.
No, well, no. He's a big foodie, and I think you'd have a great time. You guys seem to have the same thought processes, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." I was really busy trying to get the restaurant open, and they came to the restaurant about a month later, right before opening, to do a wine tasting, and we were on the final decision-making process for the final wine list. And anyway, she goes, "Oh, look, I brought Mike, or I brought Doc." And so Doc Thompson walks over, and I go, "Hey, how you doing?" He goes, "I'm fine." So, "My name's Patrick." He goes, "My name's Doc." I go, "So what do you do?" He goes, "I'm a radio host." I go, "Okay." He goes, "What do you do?" He goes, "I'm the chef here. I got to go." He goes, "Okay, I'm tired too. Bye." And it was the most lackluster introduction in the history of the world.
Wow.
And it was like, okay, that was the end of it. But yeah, about a month later we met, had coffee, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come on the radio with me one morning? We'll talk about food, give people a break from politics." And so I came on, and it was kind of a regular thing after that. That was August of like 2016, 15, somewhere in there.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a long time. It was
We
2015.
all started around the same time.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I
That
know.
is interesting.
Yeah. So then that turned into a weekly segment, and I had this weird, bizarre idea to start a 24/7 food talk radio platform.
I had the same idea.
Yeah, I know.
I
Shoulda,
did.
coulda, woulda. Hey, well,
I'm
you know
serious. I really did, but I didn't know how to manifest it. So.
Well, neither did I. I went to Doc, and then he had an idea to start another channel. That's our sister channel, and we gathered some partners, and here we are. Well, it was October of 2017, but here we are, a mere 15, 16 months later from when we actually started last year.
Wow.
I know, we have a studio and everything. How
Yeah,
cool
I
is
love
that?
It is so cool.
I love the way y'all outfitted the studio. This is just the whole concept I absolutely love.
So that guy right over there, Brad Staggs, he's on his show right now. He's the, you know what? I said, "What are you going to do?" And he goes, "I don't know what I'm going to do." I showed up one day, and most of this was in. I'm like, wow, but that shadow box wasn't there with a view out that beautiful window.
Yes.
I came in a couple days later, and that was up. I'm like, "Dang, you're good, man. Hey, could you build me a house like in here somewhere? Like hide me in a broom closet?"
I want a jacuzzi bathtub, please. Thank you. I may live here.
So that's how it all started. And then Mark Conway has been instrumental in making introductions to people within the WFC.
Love Mark.
Yep. And before we actually, our official launch last year was a recorded event. We went to the NRA show in Chicago, and Mark showed up with the KA team, and they did a little live broadcast while I was interviewing Mark Conway at the Spoony radio table, and I think we did almost 200 interviews that week.
Wow.
Yeah, between
Nice.
3 and 20 minutes long.
Wow.
And we edited that all down into like 3 hours of strung along broadcast. That was kind of to put together the first few hours of recording, and then
Been there, done that more than once.
So, like right now, you have how many hours of programming, and are you looking for new content, or what's going on?
Oh, we're looking.
Yeah.
We're always looking for new content. So we have right now 14 shows. We have my show's 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Yeah, I know. I missed yesterday. Don't try and correct me, people. We had a.
He needs a break, people.
I was out of town. My daughter had a banquet, and
I know.
I hadn't been home in a while. So we have my show. We have another daily show, which is Mark Conway's. It's the Family Meal Show, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. With yours, it'll be 6 more live shows a week. They're once a week, either 1 hour, 2 hours, and then Gwen Rich has a Monday, Wednesday, Friday live show. And then we have 7 other, so we're like 15, 16 shows right now.
Fabulous. You guys can check them out on Spoony Radio on Facebook and also online and get their schedule. And you have an app, I believe, too.
Well, we're working on that. Actually,
on the app.
It's so hard to stream to Facebook. And nothing against Facebook. It's really hard to kind
Coordinate.
of count everything. And, where are people going to listen and watch? And we're trying to focus everyone on one focal point, which is Spoony.com.
Yeah.
We're not there yet, but you can go. You can click on the Listen Live. It takes you right to iHeart, and you can go to the show hosts that have podcasts right now, which I think are myself, Mark. There are a few others. Everyone's
Andy?
going to be on podcast. I think.
Part of my fork's on there too. I think.
Oh yeah, I think actually we've put everyone automated. Their shows go up. I think it's automated. So anyone that comes on after like 2 or 3 weeks, their show goes right up on Spreaker for podcast as well.
Very nice.
Fabulous.
And it's only $7,000 a month. No, I'm just joking. No, not yet.
Not
yet. So far, it's like 7 cents a month.
And you do business consulting. So if someone wants to find out about your services for consulting, where would they hit you up at for that?
They can email me at patrick@foodbizpro.com, or they can just Chef Patrick at Spoony.com.
And you're on Twitter too at Spoony and Patrick Mosier, I believe.
Yeah, it's actually Food Biz Pro on Twitter.
Food Biz
Pretty
Pro.
much all social media for me is at Food Biz Pro. Although my personal page is larger on Facebook, I'm trying to transition all that over.
So I want to know about the brunch you cooked. You were organizing. Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah, it's you know what happens on Easter and Mother's Day?
Chaos.
Hell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
so-
gonna say chaos.
So there are 2 days that people dislike the most in restaurants, and Christmas Eve is a really terrible night to work just because you want to be with your family, but it's usually not that difficult, right? You have visitors in town, everybody's in a good mood. Mother's Day and Easter are the 2 most difficult because Easter people are usually in a rush. They just came from church, they're going to service, they want to get home, they want to do their fun stuff, the kids want to find their eggs, they want to eat their candy. And then Mother's Day, everybody wants Mother's Day to be perfect. So,
Oh, man.
Gee, that hasn't happened for me yet, but I'm still waiting.
yeah, it is what it is. It's a great day to celebrate, and but those big brunches, they're killer.
Oh, man.
They're like 20-hour days or more. Mm-hmm. Well, it's like
a
launching
chef's
a radio
life.
channel.
It's like it's a Thug's life.
Yeah, well, Thug's life.
Hey,
I can't sing
got
that
the
song.
OG chef right here, man.
There you go.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of people, when they watch chef shows, they think it's very easy.
Ah,
And it's not. If someone is going to culinary school now, and I'm not going because I'm going to open up a restaurant, I'm going because I want to understand your craft a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think people really understand how that works, how it works to be a chef at a big restaurant, and you have to push out food. It has to be right. I would say watch a Gordon Ramsay episode, and you'll get it.
Especially if you go back to his old series,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Kitchen
Kitchen
Nightmares,
Yeah.
his original series.
Absolutely.
It's the only business I can think of where the raw product is purchased.
Yes.
The finished product is prepped, prepared, served, and consumed in
Right
the
there.
same building in the same day.
Yeah.
Within a matter of hours, typically.
Yeah.
And that the logistics of doing that make it very difficult. And you
Yes.
can't scale your business back a lot of times because
Yeah.
you need a minimal number of people for service.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about. You can't just get down to one person like you can in a lot of other trades. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you know what?
Absolutely.
As a chef, if I want to open a restaurant, I might not understand. Okay, how much does insurance cost?
Yes. That's another thing. Yes.
Taxes and what?
Employee.
Yeah, benefits, all the other
all
stuff.
that stuff. Yeah.
In California, I remember when they changed the law to say that 40 hours a week wasn't overtime; it was anything over 8 hours
Yeah.
a day.
Wow.
And I had all my employees worked 4 10-hour days because they preferred to have 3 days off.
Yeah.
I had to change. I mean, it changed the dynamic, and I had like 67 employees in that
my
kitchen.
goodness.
Yeah. Well, we're doing $7 million a year, so
well,
it was.
people will think that because they're a chef that they can just go open a. It's not as simple as that. Opening a restaurant requires a lot of business planning, which is why most restaurants go in 2 years.
And it's business. Actually, that's not actually true.
Okay, what is it?
No. They have the failure rate of, say, the average financial services broker, whether that's an insurance company or an individual agent. It doesn't matter. It's about the same. It's like first 2 years about 16-18%, which is not that much higher than most other businesses.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the 5-year mark, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Nowadays, Trey Chapman brought up a really good point the other day in that he has Trey's Chat on Live on
Right.
Fridays.
Yeah.
It used to be a restaurant that had longevity was 10, 15, 20 years. Now it's like 3-4 years. You have to change concepts.
Yes.
Yes. The most famous chefs in the world will open a restaurant that it stays open 4 years. They close it, open in another location, and start a whole other concept across town.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because you got so much competition out there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, people are just more, intelligent and informed and stuff about the whole foodie thing. I think is a
Yeah.
lot of that.
Yeah.
And they're wanting more quality dishes, and that's how I look at it. They're just more. They're not just going to go have meatloaf and mashed potatoes. Although I love meatloaf and mashed potatoes, but
Make
people
me
are,
hungry.
I know, me too. I didn't get to eat my banana this morning. My banana.
There's, man, I was just thinking of there's a place in Austin that does a great meatloaf. It's the Oast House.
Ooh,
Man,
speaking
excellent
of
food.
meatloaf, we'll talk about Sean's bacon wrap meatloaf later.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. I do. I forgot about that. It's been a while since I've made that one.
So I have a question. Do you do that in a pan, or do you do that on in a loaf pan, or on a sheet pan where it's open? Or would you have to kill me if you told me?
No, I do both. I'll share my secrets. No, I'll start the meatloaf off in a pan, and halfway through, I'll flip it, and then I'll wrap the bacon around it, and then I'll have it in the open. And I like to put it on the grill, even though mine's a gas grill, and there are people out there that.
No, I like gas grills.
I like gas grills too. I have an electric grill, but I'll throw some wood chips in there and kind of get some smoke going, and I'll just let that bacon just crisp on top of it, and that's it.
Gas-assisted grills and smokers are like God's gift, I'll tell you.
Yes.
Because there's nothing like wet wood chips
Yeah. And so I do the whole, the whole thing. That's one of those bourbon sipping. That's when I forget how much bourbon I've sipped.
Did I hear
That's
bourbon?
when he forgets the recipe. That's when he forgets the recipe.
Well, there's been some nights I've done that too.
Yeah, you have to draw a line on the bottle where you start and the time, and then
Well
where
done.
you finish.
Oh,
And
I
the
can't
Well done,
do that.
way burned.
Oh, if I do that, I'd be in trouble. But yeah, it's a very simple recipe, and I'll give it out again. But I've used barbecue sauce, I've used ketchup, I've even used spaghetti sauce. So I have different styles for different occasions.
Could you Italian? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you when you're barbecuing, a lot of people don't know, or grilling. If you're on a gas grill, you don't have that smoke and stuff. You can get the wood chips, put them in a foil packet, poke a little bit of water in the bottom, and poke a few holes in it, and just put that in there on the side on your grill, and then close the lid. So if you're trying to impart some smoke flavor, and you're like me, I have a gas grill. I'm in the country. I'm not going to mess with charcoal. I cooked a chuck roast on it the other day. It was fabulous.
Oh, that sounds
It
delicious.
was really, really good. Yeah.
I keep wood chips, next to the grill or whatever all the time in a sealed container with water in it, so that they're
already ready to go.
Yeah. I built a contraption for my grill.
Oh no.
Where I took one of those.
Was Hair Dog involved?
Well, Hair Dog always gets a hold of the stuff that I keep my chips in when I'm getting ready to grill. But I took a meatloaf, one of those small little meatloaf deals, and I just pour the chips in there, and I got a little grate that sits on top of it. And when I'm ready, I fire up that one burner and just let it cook down, and just beautiful. I mean, and that's the thing about cooking. That's one of the things that we do here at Try This Dish Radio, is to try to help people think outside the box. When you cook, unless you're being a chef and you're working in a restaurant, I don't know if you want to try this, but think outside the box. Think about, let's say we've talked about meatloaf. Well, let's pair that with, of course, mashed potatoes.
I was
gravy,
thinking spinach stuff for some
or
reason.
spinach,
with some ricotta cheese.
A vegetable,
I was thinking cream spinach when you said spinach.
Ooh, that's
We were
even
thinking
better.
spinach at the same time. That's crazy. I was thinking spinach. And,
Well, no, you said spinach. I was like, cream spinach.
Yeah, I love cream spinach with mushrooms, y'all, with shallots and
See?
white wine
And
and butter and garlic. Of
Now
course.
we have a dish. Now
There
we
you go.
have a complete dish that will blow everybody's mind.
Yeah, we got meat, tomato, right?
There you
Some
go.
sort of tomato.
Got your
product.
veggie.
We got veggie with a little dairy in there, and that's close enough.
That's it.
Good. It's good
That's
to go.
That's a simple meal.
Make
It's
some
very easy.
mashed taters, and you're good to go.
And it makes and you can take the meatloaf. You don't have to wrap the whole thing in meatloaf. You can put bacon on top of it and throw it in the oven and let it cook down. I mean, there are different ways, and that's what cooking's all about: experimenting, finding what's wrong, finding what. When I perfected the steak, remember when we first started, I wanted to know how to do the best steak, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
I burned up so much money in steak.
Lots of chopped beef sandwiches there, or what? With
No,
that steak.
not lots of Hair Dog meals is what it turned out to be. But I learned how to perfect the steak.
We're going to go into break here, I do believe, pretty soon. But come on back.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
so that outro music should come in, and if it doesn't, we'll just keep on talking till
We'll
it.
just talk
Yeah, there you go.
food.
Hey, see, and that is why Ron is the master of the universe.
I was watching the clock. Y'all come on back. We're going to talk some more food.
Got an old car? You can donate it, whether it's running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation and save a life. They'll even come and pick it up for free. The United Breast Cancer Foundation has saved hundreds of women's lives through their free or low-cost breast screen exams. But now they need your help. The United Breast Cancer Foundation wants to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And donating your old car, SUV, or truck, whether it's running or not, helps pay for them. Plus, you get a charitable tax deduction. Help the United Breast Cancer Foundation save lives by donating your old car, SUV, or truck. Call now for free pickup. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. Call right now. That number again is 800-245-0823.
It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
Funny name, but I've done it with Riduzone. RADUzone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boosts your metabolism,
Yes,
so you're
it does.
burning more.
Yeah, it
Try
does.
it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. Riduzone.com. RIDUzone.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Hello. Welcome back. I was lost in the zone for a moment.
Patrick, you are something else, man.
That's some good intro music, man. I can't even.
I love that music.
I dance to mine, man. That's pretty groovy stuff.
I like groovy music.
Good choice, by the way. I have to say.
Well, that's how I ended up in radio, was DJing.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that, Sean. Talk a little bit about your past history.
Enough about
My
me. What about you?
My past history
I have
is
no past history. That's
it's
good.
actually interesting. And if you look at the whole path, and I'll make this real quick, if you look at my whole path, it's all leaded towards the same direction. I actually was a music producer for a little bit, managed bands, and I wanted to work on an album that, let's just say, Capitol Records needed a producer, and because we messed up and ran the one they gave us off. So,
Front row, Shaggy.
and this is before the whole internet boom, and so I realized that just working in studios, recording studios, that computers were the way. And so I learned how to play with computers and stuff just to get that project ready, and ended up becoming an IT guy. 2000, that's when the whole IT big boom, or 2002 is when that exploded. So I ended up being unemployed. But I was an international DJ at the same time, club DJ. So I was already doing music and stuff like that. Said, I've always wanted to be in radio, got in radio, and now I'm doing basically DJing to, instead of people that I see on the dance floor, 20,000 plus, I talk to people across the world. And that's exactly how I did it. And now what I love about this studio that we're in, as a technical guy and as a techno geek, I love the way everything has come together. So that's what I am. I'm a techno geek.
Speaking of techno geeks, tell everyone about what you're working on at Skynet Radio Network, because that's a really interesting project that you've been working on for about a year now.
I've been working on the format and automation for about a year, but I've been working on the technology really since before I got in radio. I was streaming. I am the first and only person that has streamed a live rave from Dallas, Texas on the internet.
What?
Yeah.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. I was playing with this technology like 2001, 2002. So I knew the technology was there. It just was a matter of fact of getting the networks faster. And now that we're going with 5G, this thing's going to explode. I'm telling you.
Well, last week you
yeah.
guys talked about terrestrial radio and the direction of things
Yeah.
and how things are going. And
Yeah.
I think what Spoony's doing, what Skynet, what Thomas Creek Digital Media with Andy. And speaking of that, we have Andy coming on here in just a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the movement of radio and how that is changing. Andy, are you on?
He should be now.
Hey, Andy. Hi. He's like,
He's hiding.
we're to fire the sound guy now.
No, hold on. Hold on.
All right.
Now he's on. Now he's on. Good morning, Andy.
Hey, Andy.
Andy.
Morning, guys.
Hey, how
Good
you doing?
morning.
How you
It's
doing,
really
man?
early where you are.
You know, it's not too bad. It's 7:30. I've been up for about 2 hours, and we're just getting, things rolling for the day.
There you go. Now, this is Andy Imhoff with Pardon My Fork podcast, which is also airs on Spoony every week. And what time do you air on Spoony? Yeah? Am
I go
correct?
out 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Awesome.
It's very impressive what they've been able to set up over there at Spoony.
Yes.
Yes, it
and
is.
we're very grateful to have it as a platform.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you guys tune in, and you can also find
Thank you.
Andy on Facebook too at Pardon My Fork as well for more information about that.
Yes, ma'am.
And you,
Facebook, and we don't have an Instagram up yet, but I really want to do that, because food, we talk about it and it's audio here, but you need that visual component as well. Am I right?
absolutely. If you're in the food industry doing anything, you really, Instagram is kind of the way to go because some people don't like they just don't really care for all the stuff on Facebook, but Instagram is the best place to share your photos. Also, Twitter is not bad for just a quick connection, but you're right. Instagram is the place to go. And, I can help you set that up. I do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. You are a consultant for anyone that's looking to do their social media stuff as far as food is concerned.
Yes, if you're in the food industry, we're going to talk about food sport here in a little bit too, as we get into that. A lot of people like their privacy and they don't want to get into that. But when you're a chef or a restaurant owner or things like that, it's important. Like if someone comes to your restaurant, they want to check in on Facebook.
Yes.
They want to check in on IG and post a photo and stuff like that. And that's how you get a lot of people. You get a lot of impression. If you get a lot of impressions, it will drive traffic to your business.
And let me add something to that. Social media is very important, and I want chefs and restaurateurs to understand this. If you have a bad review, do not ignore it and don't get mad because what you don't realize is that's free publicity. Bad publicity can be good publicity as well. It's all about the process, as Marcus Lemonis, which I love, the prophet, has always says, it's about the people, the process, and the product. Even if someone's saying, this was bad, this is whatever the case may be, you might want to get in touch with that person, discuss what their feelings are about it, and then try to fix it, and then turn around and bring that person in to sit down and see if you corrected it. Maybe let them have a few free meal or something. You fix the process. The person's now happy. What do you think the person's going to do? They're going to go out there and rave about what you've done. So I'm not saying you have to do that with everybody, but there's sometimes you need to look at certain issues that are going on in your social media, whether it be Yelp or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, and it's intimidating when you get a bad review on your restaurant page, no doubt.
Yes,
I used to work for restaurants that would get those, but it's really better to respond in a way and say, hey, how can I make it better? Don't just ignore it or don't come back and give a rude retort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just how I feel about it.
Absolutely.
It doesn't solve any problem.
Mm-hmm.
And on Facebook, you can't remove those reviews, by the way. Like when they come up on there, you're like, as far as I know, unless it's a spam review, you cannot remove it.
Yeah.
That's my
Well,
experience.
here's the good news is you can get real funny and interesting with the comments down below,
Yeah, that's true too.
So
I
Andy,
say just mix it up. Like that's typically my go-to if somebody leaves me a bad review. If it's legitimate, obviously I'm going to say, hey, sorry about that or whatever. I've never really had one of those put in, but I will tell you, like on iTunes, the ones that really cut me to the quick, it's not the 1 star. It's not the guys going, oh, these guys are, blah, blah, insert the explicitive. It's the ones where it's like a 3-star or a 2-star, and they go, normally I really like what the guys are doing over there, but when I listened in to this show, it's just not their best. That's what really just it cuts me to the quick,
Yeah, you have to not take those things personally.
I had to admit, I've been in radio so much, I don't even pay attention to half of that. And I'm not, and it's not, believe me, I'm not arrogant, but, in my other radio life, I've gotten death threats. I've gotten people who say they're going to end up at my house.
Besides me?
I'm talking legitimate death threats.
Oh.
And you can't take that stuff personal because, and I tell you, even when I'm working with a talk show host who's just starting to get into talk radio, I tell them you got to brush that stuff. Don't get in arguments with people. Don't get in arguments with callers. Don't get in arguments with people on email. You got to let that stuff roll off because what you're doing is you're giving that person, you're giving them power over your talk show. You're the host. We're not going to do things right all the time, for sure. But I'm the one who stays up 8 hours a day on top of working the 8 hours a day to bring a show that I feel that's the best that I can do. And I'm not going to let someone try to dictate to me because they don't know. You want to show me what I'm doing wrong? You put the investment, you put the money into the show, your show, and you do it the way you think it needs to be done.
Patrick, how do you feel about that?
I can't wait to get to that level, man.
Yeah.
Why y'all looking at me like that, man? Come on. I see you staring at me through the glass. Hey, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. Hey, no. Yeah, so
we love you.
Trying to address someone who's angry, you don't have to admit that they're right for them to be right.
Yeah.
It's just acknowledging that something went wrong, or that maybe, hey, you know what? Andy, I love by the way, your podcast. How can people not like what you're doing? And can I tell you, you're one of the easiest show hosts ever. Thank you so much for doing all. No, he does above and beyond to make sure his times are on and everything's dropped in the box. And your new shows go up on Monday, but you play straight across the week, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure they know when the new shows come out, but. Again, you don't have to, say, well, what did you not like? I get it all the time. Hey, good show today, a little off, but good show. And I'm like, well, what was it? Yes, I had a rough start, but tell me what you want to hear. What could I have done better? When you ask for that positive input, then it gives them some power in a positive way, and feels like they have some influence without having to be critical or negative.
Yeah, the stuff like that I'll answer. That's true. But when you had the angry person that.
What are people are complaining about a food show? I just, to me, it's kind of like one of those things. Like, what are you complaining about? You're listening to a food show. Yeah. What do you want? You want me to come cook it for you? Well, you can call me and it'll cost money.
What we can do, since we got the visuals now, we can do. I don't know, drop a turkey on the floor or something.
That's right.
And then turn around and eat it.
I want to have a glass of wine, and I want to run in the studio and jump over the chair like Graham Kerr used to do. That's what I want to do.
Andy,
jump over the chair.
You guys, frozen turkey bowling.
Oh,
let's do it.
We had that as a radio. One of the things at the promotions we had literally was someone was bowling with a turkey to win a turkey dinner. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's really funny.
Man, I got a frozen turkey story for you guys. So
tell it.
When my parents had a little pizza restaurant way back in the day. I started working there when I was 12. Wow. And I remember when I was about 14. So I don't have any power over anyone at 14. I'm the owner's kid, but that's pretty much it. They had hired these couple of guys because they needed some nighttime closers, and I can hear from the front of the store just like crash, boom, this weird sound, and I'm going, what in the heck is going on? So I go walking back there. They had pulled a frozen ham out of the walk-in freezer, and they were setting up 2-liter soda bottles, and they're bowling them down, and these soda balls were exploding and spraying all over the ceiling wall.
Gosh.
And I'm like, what are these guys doing? And the one of them looks at us and goes, this is our last night. We quit.
What a way to go out. What a way to bowl out, I say. Yeah.
And I thought I did some crazy stuff. That's wild right there.
Better to bowl out than to fade away.
There you go.
Doesn't seem like the most scrupulous thing in the world, but, hey, some people are just raised that way, right?
Oh, my gosh. We're going to go down a rabbit hole if we don't settle down over here about turkey bowling.
I know.
Hey.
Listen,
Hey.
Darie, we have got some really exciting stuff happening.
We do. Let's
for
talk
the
about
WFC,
it.
don't we?
We sure do. And
Man,
I'm excited.
I'm super excited. You set this whole deal up. We are participating in a media blitz for the WFC. We're going to have all 10 of the champs from all of the different categories as they head into the final table. What is that, 3 weeks away now?
Yes, sir. It's 3 weeks away in New Orleans. And what's interesting for this year's final table, well, this is the second year that they've bookended it and separated it from the main event, is they have to cook 3 dishes that are inspired from New Orleans cuisine. And they're also going to, whoever's the grand prize winner, their recipe is going to go on. Oh, I forgot the name of the place. I know you know it, Patrick. He doesn't have his things on, his headset on.
I can still hear you. I can still hear you.
Yeah, it's going on that Antoine's menu, I think, right? They haven't changed their menu in 100 years. So whoever's the grand prize winner, it will get to go on Antoine's menu, which is really cool.
That's huge.
Also, if the news is still current, I'm pretty sure it's going to be filmed for a 2-hour episode somewhere on TV or somewhere, but I can't say more about that until we find out more. So what we're doing is Pardon My Fork is going to be interviewing 5 of the guests, and we're going to do 5 here between Spoony or Food Biz Pro and Try This Dish Radio. Within the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be posting up stuff about the champs, and so y'all can follow us along. Make sure and like all of our pages so that you'll get and turn on the wiggly bell, the notifications, so you can be notified when we go live. So we'll do some of them live in here. Most of them will be pre-recorded and then pushed out through different various mediums. And so we're excited about it. And we might have a couple of surprise guests on too along the way. So tune in.
And if you have not gone to the World Food Championships, I would suggest that you get ready now, get your trip. It's going to be held in Dallas this year.
Yep.
It is a sight to see. If you like food sport radio, food sport on television, you'll love this. And what we mean by food sports, we mean like shows like Chopped, Iron Chef. Competition at a different level. We're not talking about barbecue, although they do have grilling and barbecue. They
do have barbecue category, correct.
But this is the Super Bowl.
I will be talking to the barbecue champ, as a matter of fact.
Oh, very good. Very nice.
That's right. Who do you have lined up first, by the way? Do you have him lined up? Oh, and he's from Germany.
I don't know what order we're going to go in. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Oliver's in Germany, so we're kind of working out the timing still. But yeah, we're going to have him on. I'm going to have to bone up on my German. My grandparents are Swiss, but I haven't spoken any of it since I was like 10 years old. So I'm hoping that we can make this thing work. I've spoken to him before when he was at the WFC. I stood and talked with him for a bit, and real good dude. He is clear and concise. I don't think that'll be any issue, but it's just all about that timing because he is over in Germany. And you guys, not to switch up subjects, I apologize. We'll get right back to it, but a German team taking the top honors at an American barbecue competition. How insane is that?
You know what? It was good. I had to give hands down.
I didn't get to try any of theirs.
Oh my goodness! I see why they were there at. And I'm a barbecue connoisseur. Oh, my goodness. It was just perfect.
And you know what's funny is they were just there with those Weber water smokers, the basic water smokers.
Yep.
There was the big one, but they weren't doing anything crazy. They weren't there with Jambos. They weren't using old hickories. Like, they just had the thin wall water smokers, and they were making it happen, man. And I'll tell you guys what. I know I talk about this a lot, but it just goes to show how transcendent food is, and then more specifically, barbecue is. It's getting so popular all across the world, this American-style barbecue. And as a matter of fact, you could even expand that out into the State Cook-Off Association competitions because those are just taking off all over the world. It's insane, right?
Oh yeah. A matter of fact, I fixed steak in the Philippines when I was there last month.
Oh yeah, for a bunch of people.
A bunch of people. Oh, and real quickly, I want to give a shout out to Angela City and all my family in the Philippines. They had a 6.1 earthquake on the Monday, and they had a 6.3 this morning.
Oh,
so my hats out to everybody out there.
Absolutely.
Hope, that's
sending them prayers and energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. But no, like you said, Andy, the steak. Well, I mean, good God, what is it? When you have a great steak, it's like heaven.
It's pretty close. I don't know. Yeah, pretty close. I don't know. I could think of something else, but that's all right. We'll go ahead and move on. Sorry.
There is a transcendent quality to good barbecue.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I have friends that are super antisocial, and the only time I get to see them is when I'm barbecuing here at the house. That's the only time they'll come out of their cave.
Okay.
You know, they don't want to talk to anybody. They just want to have a beer. They want to eat my barbecue, and then they want to leave. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I have people at my house that too. Yeah. I love to cook, though. I love to cook and entertain, and I love to have people over. And I just, to me, that's what it's all about. That's kind of my passion.
Oh, yeah.
And it's my stress reliever, too. And, it's kind of my Zen place when I start cooking, and people love it. And I think when you're, like, Sean, you talked a lot about getting in and being creative. Now, some people have an issue with that. It's like, I'm not going to go into some pottery barn and make some pottery. All right. It's not my medium, my creative medium. Mine is food.
Yeah.
But we can all learn how to cook basic things. So even if it's not our passion or like, we don't really enjoy it so much, it's a part of life. And eating and creating and eating your own food is the most intimate, cool thing you can do for another human being, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you're sustaining them, you're feeding them, you're showing love. And my motto has always been cooking for love in all the right places. And I cook because when I first started my blog, it was I cook because I love to cook. I cook because other people's loves my cooking, and I cook because it shows my love. So that's always been cooking for love for me. So that's my little spill. Y'all can go back to barbecue now.
Andy,
in Oregon? Oh, sorry, guys. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead. Go ahead.
We're listening.
Well, I was just curious how things are going over there in Texas, because in Oregon there's this movement right towards cooking your own food, growing your own food.
Yes.
Not universally, but there is kind of this underground thing happening. You're starting to see a lot more
farm to table,
front yard gardens and stuff like that. Right, but not just farm to table, but like what I cook to my own table. Right, that's the whole reason why my wife and I bought the piece of property that we did. We were specifically looking for something that was kind of more in town-ish. And this is probably going to sound ridiculous to you guys, because I know this is probably a small parcel in most parts of the country, but we found a little 3/4 of an acre plot. I know when I was out in North Carolina for work, getting an acre plot was nothing, with a house on it. They were everywhere. Mm-hmm. All of the plots were about that size, but around where I'm at, it's kind of rare to find that. So we jumped on it. And of course we've got our ducks and chickens, and we've got the big garden going and stuff like that. But, in Texas, I hear that you have these like microclimates, Austin comes to mind. Where it's almost tropical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you guys do any of that home farming? Front lawn farming?
Well, I live in the country. I have an actual garden.
We don't
keyhole garden. My mom does.
It depends on what part of the town. Mm-hmm. I actually grew up. My mother came on from a farm, and we used to grow all our stuff in the back. And that's what me and my wife are doing. But that is a new growing thing, because now, with the whole different elements of what's going on with our food, I think you're beginning to see a shift of people wanting to start eating healthy or healthier, because let's be honest, we have an epidemic in this country because people are not learning how to cook. And I think once you start getting into the whole cooking groove and start learning about different vegetables and different seasonings and stuff, I think the more you get into that, the more you realize I need to do this cleanly. And of course, as we all do, you go get fresh produce, and you have to cook it as quick as possible. As if you have a farm or you have a little garden, you just kind of go out there and pick as you use.
Well, I think I was just going to mention that my son and daughter-in-law in San Antonio have started a little backyard. I don't think they've planted it yet, but the whole concept of keyhole gardening, which if y'all want to, you can just Google it. It's where you build up a platform of paper and soil, and you can. It was actually a technique, I believe, designed in Africa where there's very little water.
Very little water,
and you can put a little keyhole garden in your backyard, and it's not that hard to maintain or water. So you look that up. But I think a lot of people are just wanting to have, even a tomato and a pot on their back porch, or fresh herbs. They're wanting to, if they like to cook, integrating like as much as they can. It's hard to grow a lot in a small space, but with the keyhole, you can do quite a bit. So check it out.
And I think when people start to eat their own vegetables, there's something when you grow something like that.
Right.
That gives you a passion that's just there. You're like, I did this, and you. I think it pushes you to go cook because you want to share this with people. Say, look, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So I think, Andy, I think that is definitely a big trend.
I like seeing that. I hate to say it like this, but I think that people are losing faith in food, or where they get their food, or fast food. I don't know if that's quite the right way to say it. I mean, we're always going to have the big box stores. We're always going to have the the monoculture is a big problem in the United States, and I don't think anybody's really talking about it, but there are a lot of people trying to throw up the red flag and say, hey, by the way, this is not good. There's a lot of bad stuff going on, because when we do this monoculture, it's damaging to the wildlife, it's damaging to the soil, it's damaging to the whole area. And we've known it for a while. That's why we do crop rotation. Yeah. But now we've got these new chemicals that we're putting in the soil, and we don't have to do the crop rotation, stuff like that. There will be ramifications. I don't know if you guys ever listened to Dr. Drew, but one of my favorite quotes from him is, there are no shortcuts in nature. And that's a fact. Some of this stuff is going to catch up with us, and when it does, I think the people that are focused on, trying to grow their own food and do their own thing, it's really going to be beneficial.
Well, as you said, Andy, it has caught up with us. As you mentioned, Darie, the network, and I've got several channels that I'm working on, but the one I'm building up now is a health channel, health talk channel, and that's one of the things that we're beginning to see. A lot of the problems that we're having with inflammation in the bodies, diabetes, arthritis, a lot of that is coming from the chemicals that we have put in our food. And I have type 2 diabetes, and I have literally reversed my diabetes down because I started eating properly, and I started eating or try to find organic,
non-GMO.
Exactly. So, Andy, I think I agree with you 100%.
And on that same topic, Patrick, I wanted to ask you, how do you think and we're talking a lot of and some of this is farm to table movement. All right, so we might as well. We got about 2 minutes 50 left here in this segment before we go to break. Patrick?
Wow, that was a lot of ground to cover. But, so and I talk about.
We can carry that over to the next segment. No worries.
Well, no. Andy actually was one of the callers. He called into the show right before my show, right before we launched. Pardon My Fork, and there is a huge disconnect between people and especially in this country, and what we consume.
Absolutely.
About 70 to 75% of all the calories consumed in this country are highly processed, low nutritionally value food. They're highly dense in calories with very little nutrition.
Yes.
And that's part of the problem you see with this with the type 2, and I'm sure that leads to type 1 diabetes.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know how, but it has to be connected somehow.
Yeah, it is.
But
absolutely.
Andy, I know you do this because we love great food, but sharing that passion with people. Can I tell you something? Get an Instagram account up right now, because I saw, what were you smoking the other day that had that beautiful looking candy on the outside? What was that big? Dude, what was that? Because
it was a double smoked ham.
You got a minute. A minute 40.
It was already hickory smoked.
Oh, I saw that too.
It was a 30-pound, and I rubbed it down with an organic, coarse stone ground mustard and a local blackberry honey mix, and I just rubbed that down, and we ran it on the smoker for about 6 hours.
Oh my goodness!
A little bit hotter too. Yeah.
So just being able to share that visual with people, I think just a visual can inspire. And
oh, absolutely.
You know, it's look, it's our job to inform. That's what we do. We inform and demystify the process of cooking. And look, you got a minute left. I'm going to let you all go to it. And Andy, hey, thanks for calling in. Love your show. Appreciate you being on the.
So yeah, Andy, let everyone know where they can find you on social media, since we're speaking about social media. Yeah.
So, of course, pardonmyfork.com is where they can find the show. Social media is at pardonmyfork. We're still doing a lot of good stuff over at Boost Booze BBQ, so people can go and check that out as well. Lots of barbecue stuff going up over there. And, yeah, I appreciate talking to you guys, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you for calling in. And if there's anything else you want to talk about, feel free to hang over to the next segment. And we're going to start talking a little bit about the guests that we have coming up this week on Food Biz Pro and Try This Dish Radio for the WFC Final Table Media Blitz. So y'all come on back and here's some more food.
I don't know if there's going to be one continuous 2 hour, if it's going to come back as a new show, but we'll be right back in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Come back.
This is the only 24-hour take-anywhere platform dedicated to food and fun. We're Spoony.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Are you a U.S. citizen? The Supreme Court had set to hear arguments over the race at townhall.com.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
Dr. Ken Brown here, host of Gut Check Project with my co-host Eric Rieger. Eric, we've been seeing Mojo guys over there and over here at Spoony talk about Atrantil for bloating. I've seen in my practice that Atrantil is a whole lot more than just a bloating product.
Yes, it does a whole lot more than just fix bloating because of the polyphenols that you find in Atrantil.
You're exactly right. The polyphenols are those molecules that we find in the Mediterranean diet. It makes vegetables and fruits very colorful. What are some of the things that these polyphenols do, Eric?
These polyphenols can actually stop inflammation. They can help you have more energy. They can help you with anti-aging. And polyphenols are great for athletes.
It sounds like it's going to help a whole lot more people than just bloating. Tell me how everybody should be taking Atrantil.
If you want to dose Atrantil, it's 2 capsules 3 times a day, basically with your meals. But if you aren't bloated and you just want that polyphenol intake every day, 2 to 3 capsules a day will work for you.
Go to lovemytummy.com/Spoony.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
We gotta find that music from our show before. Yeah, we good? We good. Hey guys, welcome back to Try This Dish Radio. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We are here in the Spoony Radio studios in beautiful Hotham City, Texas. Hotham? Is that how you say it? I don't know. I don't know. I guess y'all can school me on it.
You know what though? They, is it what's the word they use here? There's
Lancaster?
No, there's a town here north of Houston, Humble. And so people say humble instead of humble. No, I am humble, but I live in Humble.
Well, what about Mahia?
Yeah.
That's another one.
Bear County, Bexar.
It's not just here though. I lived in Pueblo, Colorado for a while, and they say Pueblo.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. And I lived in Corinth, New York, but if you live there, you say Corinth without the I.
Right.
Oh, well, there you go.
I don't know.
We have a Corinth here.
Yeah, I know, not far.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right down the street.
Anyway, welcome back again. Like I said, thank you guys. Thank you for correcting me for 5 minutes. I'm sure they love that.
Nah, it's Haltom City.
That's right. All right. Anyway, we do have Andy still on the line.
Yep.
So
Hold on one sec.
yeah, he is still on the line. We're going to talk a little bit more about the WFC Final Table Media Blitz. So, Andy, you want to talk a little bit about who you're going to be featuring on Pardon My Fork? That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got your list handy.
I am super excited because you sent 5 of the champs over my way. Of course, one of them is the Bacon Champ, and I'm really looking forward to him.
I knew you'd love
Peter,
that. Yeah.
I always screw up his last name. Fortunately, I am talking to him today, and so I'll get his last name all worked out. But Bacon, man, what a versatile category to go into. And, you know, it's funny. I always am talking to Mark Conway about this. We need to have a taco a category at the WFC.
Wouldn't that be fun?
But
Now you're
something
talking
would
about
have
me.
to go, right?
Something
and so
has
I
to go.
keep thinking to myself, if I ever make my way into the bacon category, I'm just going to do a bacon weave for the taco shell.
Oh,
and call it a
nice.
day.
I love it.
I have seen that and have done it myself. That is a great. Oh, you probably win that one. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Wow.
Now, here's the thing about doing the bacon weave for a taco shell. It would have to be thin sliced bacon.
Yes.
It couldn't be the thick stuff because
Yeah.
you don't want it to pull and chew. You want it to crumble and break.
Mm-hmm.
So the the Bacon Champ is Peter Rajow, I believe. Yes, from Roanoke, Virginia.
Rajow, yeah.
Rajow.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we already talked about Oliver Sievers, the barbecue champ over there in Germany. I look forward to seeing what he's going to bring over here because, you know, winning barbecue is kind of a thing all on its own, right? But being able to see what someone competing at that level is able to cook when they're put in the kitchen arena, I think is going to be very interesting.
Oh, there was radio silence, Sean. I'm waiting for you. Sorry, I should throw something at you.
Oh no, I was just enjoying the conversation.
I know. And then, okay, then you're also going to take care of or have Bo Smith on, and he's the seafood champ out of Lamarck, Texas, which is near Galveston. Excited about having him on. Yeah. He'll be on
And then, of course,
Spoony.
we'll have the sandwich champ, David Molina.
There you go.
And that's going to be a really good show, I think. I'm really looking forward to talking to him. And then last but not least, we cannot forget about the dessert champ,
Yeah.
Greg Berger. And, you know, people who do dessert that go to the final table, who am I thinking of that won the whole thing but started in dessert? I'm thinking that it is the Jelly Queen. I lost her name. Help me out here, Darie.
Are you talking about last year's?
I think it was the year before.
Well,
Donna.
Ramen?
Donna Yamini. Donna Yamini.
Yamini. Okay.
I'm pretty sure she was 2 or 3 years ago. I'm pretty sure she was the final table winner, and she had started out in dessert. If I'm not mistaken, somebody's going to have to fact check me on that one. But that's the thing about the final table that I love, you guys. You have all of these different categories all coming together, and they're not cooking their specific category. They're cooking food, and they don't know what the recipes are. They know kind of what the inspiration is going to be behind it, but that's it. They don't know what they're going to be working with. And it really gives the champs an opportunity to show off what skills they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does definitely. This is a different way they're doing it at the final table. Like they're not having to cook in their category, which is the way it's always been. And I really think that levels the playing field. It allows for more creativity.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think they're going to be adding maybe an extra element to the judging. That's what I wanted to speak about last segment as well. They're having a judging class up here in Dallas, I believe on the 5th or 4th. I'll find the date on that. If you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you want to become a food judge, you can go through that certification class. So, yeah.
Yeah,
and on the 5th, thank you. And if you want more information, head to worldfoodchampionships.com and click on judging. So, yeah, it's a fun thing to do. And they're going to need volunteers up here, too, in October. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they're doing this thing called the Eat X. And
X,
so
that's
it's
it,
a
the
little bit
X.
of an evolution. Yeah.
And Mike McLeod's talked about that before. And we will definitely have him on at some point during this thing. You know we will. We'll sneak him in here somewhere.
Absolutely.
the man.
You have to.
Yeah,
you got to have the man on to talk about what his kind of grand plan is here. You know what I mean?
So let's finish.
You know, he is going to sneak up here pretty soon.
He is going
because
to.
Is it the
It's a surprise. Remember?
Trey Chapman announced it last week.
Oh, Trey. Okay.
Yeah. So there's the Iron Fork competition, right?
Yeah.
WFC is tying up with Dallas, the regional Iron Fork competition, and I believe the winner is going to get a golden ticket, baby.
Yeah, golden ticket.
Yeah, and there's no chocolate involved in
I was
that.
gonna
You
say,
just
I
a
want
golden
chocolate.
ticket to the WFC.
So you also have on. Let's talk about the last two guests that we haven't spoken about, or do we cover all of yours, Andy?
Well, we got all of mine.
David, Melinda. Okay.
I mean, I could go on and on about these people. I'm very impressed with all of them.
Yes, and I do know Lydia Hadarian. She is the chicken champ, and we're going to have her on the week of May 5th, I believe, that week. And this week, we're actually going to have on Jackie CV, which is the chili champ from Mississippi. She's going to come on our show tomorrow, which will be our regular slotted time at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Yes.
So y'all tune in tomorrow, and we're going to have Jackie on. She's the top $10,000 winner for chili category, and she is a casino chef in Mississippi. We'll talk a little bit more about her story tomorrow. And then also tomorrow at 1 on Food Biz Pro Show, it's going to be Robert Mansfield, and he's the steak champ. Woohoo! And he's going to come on and talk with you, Patrick, at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that conversation. I really can't wait.
Are.
And he is the owner of Pigs in Zen. You can find that on Facebook, and he's from Ringwood, New Jersey. So we look forward to hearing both of their stories and how they're maybe some little secrets on how they're preparing, because it is different. Like, he went and cooked steak, and now he has to go and cook 3 New Orleans influenced dishes. So this is, I'm sure, a real big challenge, because typically the top winners are cooking in their category. I really like the idea.
We've had many times we've had the champions on and people are involved in the World Food Championships. And when we were there, one of the questions I would always ask is, when do you start getting ready for the next one? And they all will say, well, we'll take a week off, then we start back. Because I want people to understand, these are champions. They cook the way people drive in NASCAR. It's not that they kind of run around and 2 weeks before the World Food Championship, they start to kind of think, no, they take this to a whole different level.
Yeah, they're planning already when they're at the other one.
Exactly.
They're already looking ahead.
I would love to sous chef, but I don't want to get.
I did that this year.
Yeah,
it was
you
really
did do
fun.
that.
I sous chef for Sandy Shepard in Chile, and we got 8th. Whoop, whoop. And then I sous chefed and chef with Roberto Rose out of California. Fabulous. I can't wait to see him again this year.
Yes.
He's an incredible
His story is just
chef.
incredible.
Yes, he owns Vinalegro
Yeah.
in California. We'll have to have him on at some point. Now, Andy, you also sous chefed with Suzanne Duplantis, I believe,
That's
Make
right,
Over
you
My
did.
Leftover. Yeah, you did.
Man, sure
I
did.
hooked you up.
And
That's
we
right.
are addicted now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it
Yes,
was
you
fun.
did. Yes, you did. And so we are going back this year. We're going to sous chef with her, and then we're going to also sous chef with the former seafood champ, Kim Bannock.
I love Kim.
Very nice.
Love Kim and Mark.
Yeah, it's
Love
going
you,
to be
Kim.
a really good time.
It's definitely a different. I opened up with the chef category, which is the very first event, and when we got to Orange Beach, it was like 5,000 degrees, and it's a tent, and I mean, I had braids and my bandana, and it was so hot. They were swabbing my forehead, and then and then when we did chili on Friday, it was freezing. It was freezing to death, and I cut my thumb.
Freezing.
I cut my thumb. I had like a timeout. The chef would come get me. My thumb's bleeding. It was fun. Yeah, well, that wasn't fun, but it was I wanted to see how, because I want to do food sport too. I could do it. I just am too busy doing this other stuff. But I love it. I loved it. I love the whole way it felt. Everything's really, and the chefferees were great.
I'll pass on that.
I had a good time, except for the 100 degrees. That wasn't fun.
Mike McLeod's always messing with me about cooking.
Yeah, y'all going to do the worst cooks ever in food sport.
Man, you know what? when I get a chance to talk to him, like, we need to get down and do this. Me and you head to head, buddy. Let me see how bad we both can
We're
do.
filming that with 3 cameras
right here in the Spoony studios.
That'll
We're
work.
working on that kitchen studio downstairs, the actual the live film studio. So.
I know.
So
I
Mr.
can't wait for that.
Mr. McLeod McLeod, I challenge you to
now
a
the
cooking throwdown.
Hair dog can't come. So Andy, real quick.
Man, you got to wait until I'm there.
Oh yeah,
until I'm there, guys.
We'll do it in October. We'll do it in October.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So Andy, tell everybody real quick if you have a list of where they'll be able to listen to the shows that you're going to produce. Yeah, maybe iTunes.
Well, so
or how does it work?
We need to talk about this.
We'll put out more information.
A bit. I would like to. Yeah, I'd like to see what we can do over there at Spoony. But of course, we go out on pretty much every platform. I'm very good about putting us out on anywhere that anyone finds their fine podcast. So
the way they like to listen,
Spotify, SoundCloud, Spreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they can find links to all that stuff over on pardonmyfork.com.
Okay.
And Radio Public is another one. And we go out all over the place. And so hopefully when people are searching us out, they can pretty easily find the show and tune in. And what we'll be doing all week is on our social media, we'll be announcing, as the interviews come in. I'm probably going to try to fold 1 or 2 interviews back in per week, and we're just going to rotate through them because I want as many people to listen to this as possible. There's a lot of great information here. Anyone that's interested in food sport, I think they're going to get a lot of good information from this. But also, with my show, I really like to talk to folks and get their history, get their background.
Yes.
What was it that, pushed them into this field? How did they get to the level that they are, just stuff like that, because people have such diverse backgrounds when it comes to food competition. They're not all just chefs. A lot of them are just home cooks that really honed their craft and have reached a level that, even they never thought they would.
I'm not sure, but I believe Greg Berger, who's the dessert champion, right? I believe, yeah. I don't think he's a professional chef at all. So it'll be interesting to hear their stories, because one thing about the World Food Championships is everybody can compete. You have to win a golden ticket through either a recipe contest or actual local food competition. Most states, not most, but several have now organizations that are not sponsoring, but they own that. I don't know. It's hard to explain. We're going to let Mike McLeod do that. So you have to go to one of their sanctioned events, but there's also extra events that you can do. And like they just did the Taste of America recipe online contest, which was basically putting a picture on Instagram with your recipe. And they're announcing all the winners to that right now by state if you want to go to World Food Championships Facebook page. So some people, so it's neat. A home cook, professional chef, the people that have won, let's see, it was Lisa Gwatney.
Yes.
Won it in steak, home cook. And then the year before that was... Man, my brain. Come on, you know who it is. That's terrible.
It's early in the morning.
I haven't had any coffee, too much coffee yet. But they're both home cooks. Okay, I'll come back to me in a minute. But they're home cooks.
That's the thing. You can be a chef and you can be a home cook. I believe, like you said, I don't remember her name, but I think she won the main thing last year.
Oh, I'm just not. I don't know why I'm drawing such a blank, but yeah.
And that's the thing. And when you go and see these people, like for me.
Oh, it was Luke, and I'm terrible. What is wrong? My brain. I'm discombobulated. But
Well, it's early in the morning. But no, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the World Food Championships. You are putting everybody on the same platform, whether they're a trained chef or a home chef or griller or barbecue master. Some of these people just do it because they enjoy cooking, and they cook so much that they can work on a competitive level. And it's really interesting to see home cooks win, because they don't really realize that they win until after they've won.
It's Carrie Luke. She's probably going to hit me when she does see me. I'm so sorry, Carrie. I haven't even had anything to eat yet. We're talking to food, and I'm all like, but yeah. So Carrie Luke won it in steak, right?
Yes.
And then the next year, Lisa Gwatney won it in steak. Both home cooks. Pretty cool. So the thing I do really, really like about the final table and what Mike McLeod has done with it is making it like he's doing with the local cuisine. Yeah. Because I think it does level the playing field at the final, because they're going to win $100,000, you guys. So it's a big deal, and it's going to be filmed in some kind of I don't know exactly the complete details yet, but I'm sure the pressure of just that alone too is going to be there, which is they're going to be being filmed for a TV show.
Yeah, if you're not used to being filming, and we know we have talked to chefs who have been on Food Network, and they'll tell you that is. Forget about the cooking part. It's the camera work and all the grueling hours that it takes to make some of those episodes and being filmed, and you got to watch what you say and this kind of stuff. So if you're not used to television, it could be daunting, for sure. We're
going to find out at some point.
Well, we're doing something live now.
That's right.
I'm not even, but I do, as a person that's trying to break into documentary filmmaking, I'm comfortable with the camera, but I'm not a host. I do have a face and body for radio, as you can see. Thank you very much. Hair Dog looks better than I do.
Oh, now come on.
So, Andy, what are your thoughts about the World Food Championships from
this first year that you've been?
This first year, yeah. What are your thoughts about it?
Man, I'll tell you what, it was wild showing up, getting there, seeing what all was going on. It was a lot of fun, though. I'll tell you what, man, when we went into the kitchen arena, and, the thing about cooking with Suzanne Duplantis, she was so incredible, but I honestly don't think that she had too high of an expectation, if you know what I mean.
She did really well.
So we showed up, and we met her, we talked to her and we got her recipes a couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks before the WFC. We tried them once, twice here at the house, felt pretty good about it. And then, of course, we met her the day before competition, and that was great. We learned that she's just super sweet, and her husband are great people, and I liked that a lot, and I was really excited about cooking with her. But then, the morning as we were going into the kitchen arena, I don't know. There was this calm air, but as soon as we got in there, so I have a restaurant background and a cooking background. So does my wife. And I'll tell you what, as soon as that timer started, and all credit goes to Suzanne because she really laid everything out right and organized it well. But we just kind of got right into the mode, and it's kind of that mode that you get into. I know Patrick and I have talked about this before, that mode where you're in a Friday dinner rush, and you're just kind of in autopilot, go, 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 And experiencing that really gave me an appreciation for what the competitors were going through. It changed the way I was going around and talking to them. Right. I wanted to make sure, hey, if we're going to be walking around and we want to see what these guys are cooking and we want to get a little commentary about what they're cooking, it needs to be right up front. It needs to be in that first 15 minutes where they're just kind of prepping they're an autopilot. Everybody's an autopilot. They're chopping their veggies and they're getting their ingredients together and stuff like that. It's not the build time is when you don't want to go and talk to these folks because that is the crunch time.
Yeah.
Oh man,
but it's very impressive the way it all runs, right?
Yeah.
It's just like you show up and you see it now from not just the outside but also the inside. And this is a massive production. It's very impressive now when I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and I'm telling you, that last 5-10 minutes before turn in, on one of our categories, I thought we're not going to make it, and it was in Chile. And it's very, very stressful because if you don't get your plate down there by the time that timer goes, you're out. And there were some that were disqualified. It just broke my heart because they got there too late, and so. It's a true sport, you guys, and anyone can. But what I was going back to is anybody that wants to do food sport can get into it. You just have to want to do it. You don't need to be professionally trained. Patrick, what are your thoughts on food sport? Since we're just sitting here, food sport without you.
Yeah. No, well, I've never been to a WFC event, not the actual WFC final event, not the final table, but the big week-long production, and. How many entries in each category do you have, do you think?
There's typically around, there can be, there's
40, 50 to 150.
In the first round, there's about, I don't know, I was thinking there was 100 maybe in the second round, something 40, like that, but I couldn't, don't quote me on it.
So when you think about that, Andy spoke about this laser focus on production and hitting your timing and making sure everything is prepped perfectly, your mise en place is placed. And it's basically like you have 100 restaurants operating at one time, but only creating one dish for one person
it's
at
actually,
one time.
They that 50 kitchen stadiums.
Yes.
Or
Yeah, so 50 kitchens,
So there's 50,
stations.
Yeah, there's 50 that are usually competing between 40 and 50 for each category.
So if anyone's ever
first round.
you ever seen inside of an open kitchen, and you probably see 4 to 6 people working back there, maybe 8 on a large line. Think about seeing, if it's
crazy.
50, think about 3 per team on average, probably more, 4 or 5. So if you think 200 people working at one time towards one common timeline, I know there's a few minutes between each turn-in, but think about that. 200 people working towards the same goal, pretty close to the same time. It's got to be a frenzy. I mean, I've been to the competitions, but this one it's why it's the World Food Champion.
Yeah, it is a sight to see. The first year we went, I was just blown away. Pictures doesn't do it justice. You have got to see this in real life.
And this is unedited, folks. So that's the funny thing. How do you get on this recorded stuff? Because the live stuff is a little scary. It's there's no retakes.
No.
When you drop the turkey's dropped.
It's dropped.
It's just dropped.
You better hope you have another one somewhere.
You get a bowl of the turkey.
Look, go to Plan B.
Plan B, yeah. And barbecue does have a little bit longer.
I dropped the burger.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
Yeah, I dropped the burger. Yeah, I dropped the big one.
Wow.
It was one of those things where I was turning around with it, and somebody bumped into me, and I dropped it.
Oh, my gosh.
And
yeah, because
but again, that's where the preparation comes in. As long as you're prepared for it, because we already had another one made up or getting ready to go in, right? So that one dropped. Suzanne had this moment of like, oh my gosh, what did you do? And then Corianne's like, that's all right, we've got another one cooking, it'll be fine.
Corianne saves the day.
Always have a backup, baby. Always cook one more than you need.
Yeah.
Always, and when you present it to the to the judging table, it has to be on certain size plates on one tray, and the plates you don't want them to jiggle, and it's a lot of, and they don't prep anything before they go behind there. They can't cut, they can't open their meat, they can't prep anything. It's all boom.
And especially if you have one of these dishes that's really built up, that you spent, not only did you prep it, not only did you cook it and prepare it, but you want to have it as a nice presentation. Yeah, think about walking through a crowd of people.
It's so scary.
I'm scared for them.
I didn't carry it. I was like walking in front of her, and I was pushing people out of the way. I was, get out of the way. Here we come. And the chefferees are over there like waving people in. But anyway, Andy, thanks for coming on today. We're going to come down to the final minute here, and the last segment will kind of wrap everything up. So you guys stay tuned for some exciting shows with Pardon My Fork and Try This Dish Radio on Food Biz Pro coming up over the next couple of weeks. Anything you want to close out with, Andy?
I just can't say how much I love and appreciate you guys, and I appreciate your listeners tuning in to this whole WFC Media Blitz. It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
Hey, Andy, do you have a new show coming out pretty soon? Is that already in the works, perhaps?
It is in the works. I'm not ready to talk about it just yet, but we've got some really exciting stuff coming. And
cool.
I look forward to coming on, maybe talking with you about it, Patrick.
Yeah.
Hey, whenever you're ready. I got wind of it. I had to ask.
Gee, I didn't even know that.
Fabulous,
I felt left out.
Man, I appreciate that.
And thanks, you guys, for working with me. Now, I am Foodie Group, by the way. I am Foodie Group, Food E Group. It's Food Group, you guys, because food with the E on end means a nude food picture. Did you know that? That's how I came up with Food Group. Y'all come on back to the other side while we wrap up right here on Try This Dish Radio. Yeah.
Have you done it? You catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror?
I'm one of those people you don't want to see naked.
Yeah, most of us. But I mean, you look and you're going, what the?
I know.
How did I get to whatever?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. Hey there, it's Doc Thompson and Brad Staggs to tell you about a different way to shed those pounds. This is brand new tech. It's only been around for a couple of years or so. It was based on research from the University of California that said there's a molecule called OEA that's found naturally in your body. It produces it in the Mediterranean diet, that when taken in concentrated amounts, it will actually make you feel fuller and boost your metabolism.
I've lost about 10 pounds so far.
It's amazing.
It
now,
really is cool.
A company said, we can take this to market and make this great product that'll help you. It's called RidUZone, RIDUZone.com, RIDUZone.com. It's Brad's worked. It's worked for Brad's, worked for me, countless other people. Go to RidUZone.com and try today. You're going to love it. RidUZone.com. Remember that, RIDUZone.com. AttractivePharm.com.
Dr. Ken Brown here, host of Gut Check Project with my co-host Eric Rieger. I've seen in my practice that Atrantil is a whole lot more than just a bloating product.
Yes, it does a whole lot more than just fix bloating because of the polyphenols that you find in Atrantil.
What are some of the things that these polyphenols do, Eric?
These polyphenols can help you have more energy, and polyphenols are great for athletes.
It sounds like it's going to help a whole lot more people than just bloating. Go to lovemytummy.com/Spoony.
Take the pain out of ordering your diabetic testing supplies with Diathrive. Diathrive ships the testing supplies you need directly to you when you need them. Best of all, with plans starting as low as $8 a month, Diathrive is probably going to cost you less than what you're paying today. Diathrive is so convinced that you'll love their service, they're offering your first month of supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. Diathrive.com. That's D-I-A, thrive.com.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back. And this is AAR Shanto and this
Destination Darie.
Oh, she's
Soon to
going
be.
back.
I'm going somewhere.
Come on now.
I am. I'm threatening.
You can go to Asia.
Oh, I don't know about Asia.
Oh, come on. Live life.
I want to go to a beach somewhere, which is where I was supposed to be this week, but I didn't get to make it to the beach.
I'm telling you, Boracay.
Belize.
No, Boracay.
All right. Well,
I actually did parasailing.
I know you guys think this is a travel show now, but
it is a travel show. Boracay. It's a beautiful beach. White sands, blue water, parasailing.
Well, I wish I was down at Sandfest. That's what I was supposed to be going to this week, which is the big world-class sand sculpting champion or whatever contest in Port Aransas every year. So, yeah. Shout out to all my Sandfest people. Wish I was there with my bare feet on the sand.
Want some gumbo?
Oh, stop talking about food.
Gumbo.
We should talk about food.
What's the best gumbo you've ever had? What is your favorite ingredients in gumbo?
I like shrimp, sausage. Yeah.
I like shrimp, sausage, chicken. Sometimes I have done crab legs. I mean, that gets a little expensive. But I try to cut off on the rice, though.
So when you go and eat a good gumbo somewhere and you're a foodie, what's the first thing you do?
Take a picture. Come on.
and make sure to get the lighting correct, you guys, and keep out any background images. And then if you don't have social media and you're in the food industry, I have to say, what up?
Yeah.
What up? Yeah. Okay, I'm just saying, people, if you are in the food industry, food, sport included, restaurant, whatever, it's so tantamount to be able to have that, right? And so we're gonna bring in Patrick in a minute and chat with him about the importance of social media management or just social media in general.
I think what we really need to do is try to help people learn how to. Social media is hard.
It is hard, and it's scary.
If you're running a company, and trust me, I'm started my own company involved with the network. So when you're doing stuff every day, all kinds of stuff, the last thing you try to do is get on social media. But I will tell you this, if you want to get on social media, especially Twitter and Facebook, always put #news in your post.
Yeah, you do have to do appropriate hashtags or it won't go anywhere or anyone's feed.
The reason why I say news is because, especially on Twitter, a lot of the reporters that report on stuff are looking for that. You're
talking about Twitter, but you act like you tweeted sometime recently.
Well, I still understand the concept.
Oh.
Try This Dish, as you said, Try This Dish show, our Twitter account hasn't done anything since October, right?
Right.
Still have 7,000 people, 6,000, 7,000 people following.
I have 8,000. I got more than you.
Well, of course, you do it.
Well, I'm real bad at regular tweeting, but you can get Hootsuite, which is free for 2 accounts, I believe. So if you want to schedule posts to go out to your Twitter and your Facebook, I think you can do 2 accounts for the free one on Hootsuite anyway. So there's some different management tools out there.
And here's the deal: I will tell people, it's not about how many people you have; it's the quality. I have people that work with the New York Times, LA Times, a whole bunch of Huffington Post people, And
Here's Patrick.
and they work
Hey,
in their
Patrick.
category. What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, let's talk about social media. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I was outside of the realm of the Magic Kingdom over here for a few minutes. So
He was working his magic.
nah. So when you talk about social media, you brought up a really good point to Andy. I'm not very good with social media. We've spoken about that, and typically when people say they're not very good at social media, it means we don't want to take the time, or not just social media. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at writing. We don't like it. We think it's tedious, so we don't take the time to become good at it. And with social media, I've always found it as more of a requirement instead of something that I thought I wanted to do because it was beneficial, and I've kind of put it off. But after going to Mohegan Sun, the Wine and Food Festival with Mark Conway, and seeing that event and how every influencing chef up there, everyone from Food Network, every single chef kind of ignores Facebook, and nothing wrong with Facebook, but it's very tedious, right? And food is really you eat with your eyes first,
right?
Then you eat with your with your stomach, or your nose second, then your stomach. It's visual first and foremost, and if you don't have Instagram, you really can't. You can't be an influencer in this day and age. Not in this arena. I think that's the most important. So, myself included, I've neglected it for so long. I've been stockpiling photos, so you'll probably see about 500 come out in the next 4 days. Be prepared. Yeah. Well, you got to do it sometime.
It's better late than never. Yeah, and then also make sure you take a good photo. And there's also some apps that will resize the photos for Instagram. Also, you have to have a different size photo. We figured this out for a Facebook event. It would not let you put a photo up there and then crop it. You have to actually have it cropped beforehand. And Twitter and everything. So there's some neat apps out there. Because, you can't just make one photo and then put it all over the place. It won't fit on a Twitter banner,
That's
people.
True. That's true. And I will tell you this. I have a Canon Rebel T6. I think that's what it is. It has a setting on it just for food, and it brightens it up, makes it look good.
Does it give the depth of field in the back?
Yes, the whole thing. Because
that's what portrait mode on your iPhone does.
Yeah,
so.
that's what the whole. So if you're really going to get into it, and plus you learn how to do food photography, which by the way can help you in a lot.
Oh yeah,
because you have to.
You need to have a good food photographer, no doubt.
Social media is a free advertising. Let me say that again. My wife, which she's a foodie too, shut her Facebook page down. Because she was literally looking at Facebook to find recipes, and now she's on Instagram. I never thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So you made a good point, is that you can't use the same photo on each social media platform. Well, you can't use the same story either. And each social media platform is a bit different in how the user interfaces with it and what they expect to see. There's a great, if you can probably pull it up, it's called How to Eat a Donut.
We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, and so it basically talks about Pinterest and Facebook and
Twitter, Instagram,
Instagram, Pinterest.
Yeah,
there's
LinkedIn.
like 5 different. So, and it's like on Facebook, it's one thing. It's like, hey, here's where I am. Check it out. And then on Pinterest, it's like, oh, here's how that wonderful donut was made that I just had at such and such. Right. And then on Twitter, it's like, hey, hashtag badass donut, hashtag wherever it is, hashtag come visit. Hashtag aren't you jealous?
Yeah.
And then on, so it's, and then Instagram really focuses on the photo and not so much the tagging. And it's a science.
It really is. But although you can put more stuff on an Instagram post now, and you can put more on Twitter than you used to. Remember when it was like, how many characters, like 25, and shut up?
Oh my gosh.
You couldn't say anything, but.
It was like, it was 130 or I don't remember.
I think it was 147.
Yeah.
I think by the time I got on Twitter, they were already, they had already upped the number.
Yeah.
So
But that's cool. Well, you guys could check out How to Eat a Donut.
Yeah, and look
that.
up social media How to Eat a Donut, and it's very brief. It just tells you how each one is differentiated and what you need to put up there, and you can find examples of that out there as well. It's very powerful. And then if you want to be an influencer, look and see what's trending on each platform.
Right. You can just go under there and it'll tell you. Just go into the little. It'll be either the home button or something like that.
I didn't know how to do that, but I know that's what you're supposed to do.
And you can get social media management for not too expensive. I mean, I haven't used Fiverr for that, but there's different work. What's another one? No, that's Upleads, but Fiverr's one of them.
Yeah, you can get like logos and other
logos.
graphics made. But I can tell you there are services. Optimizing your posts is very difficult, right? The metadata, the hashtags, the @ symbols, making sure that you reach the correct market, and not just targeting people that are interested in that, but are interested specifically not just in that field, but what you're doing and that will follow you and stick with you. And I'm telling you, for about $20 an hour, there are some people, in this country and outside of the country that you can pay for an hour and a half a week that can really change your world. I mean, some people get up to 100 followers a day using these services.
Yeah, and it's
And why am I not doing that yet?
because I think you're going to hire me, but I don't know. I don't know if I want this job.
Hey, Mark Conway, Mark, what do you?
Mark. But it's social media managers can make really buku bucks too. I mean, they for big corporations, but I guess I like to just help people get started. That's what I would like to do, and then if they want to get more management, they can do that. Because I'm not into sitting behind a computer all day long.
See, that's actually that's kind of how I learned social media, because that was where I was trying to go, was become a social media person. So like computers and radio, I dove into the platform. Now it's changed a little bit since I've done it, but like you said, you get pay someone $20. So go to colleges. You might find a college student,
an intern maybe or something. Yeah.
I don't know if people have seen this commercial. The commercial is about Coke, and this kid this kid in the kitchen, and he's making grilled cheese sandwiches. And
I'm hungry.
That's a true story. This cat's making silly money. You have people in colleges who never neglect the youngsters, because these people now are the new influencers, and that's kind of where social media and everything is going. Is you're having influence marketing. That's where we were talking about radio the other day. That's what's changing. The big mass broadcasting. I'll give you a perfect example. Rockstar. Yeah. How many Rockstar commercials have you ever seen on television?
I don't have television, so
they are influencers in the skateboarding. They started out with skateboarding. They started out with the what do they call them? The
biking and things
all
like that.
All that kind of the bike race and all that. Now they're in NASCAR. I mean, they're in everything, but they're influencers. They influence that particular market, and they have the market around that. That's why they've done so much over the years.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You talk about these marketing platforms, which are social media. The most powerful one probably overall is YouTube, which we really didn't talk about.
Yes, true, very true.
That's how it started.
Do you know who makes the most money on YouTube? We've probably it's a
kid, right?
It's an 8-year-old boy, and he unwraps toys and he plays with them and gives us an honest review. He's a smart young man. Kid's 8 years old. He made $11 million last year.
That's amazing.
$11 million opening toys, playing with them on a 2 to 6 minute video. Crazy.
How can we get into that?
Well, and so we're going to try some stuff here.
Yeah. Definitely. You can stream on YouTube and all kinds of places at one time.
Yeah,
too.
I'm going to do something. I can do some short form content. Because you don't need to stream. Remember this.
No,
if you don't have the ability to stream to multiple platforms, you can just record something on your iPhone or your other, whatever other platform there might be. I got to keep it simple. All my stuff have to stink, so it has to be an iPhone. But really, you can take a good video, and if you have an Apple product or others, you can get iMovie or other free applications that come with it and edit your movie. Yeah. And it's pretty awesome, really.
I do a lot of stuff. Used to do some stuff with QuickTime. I was actually looking at it last night. Sorry.
By the way, Trey Chapman
was talking to me.
Trey Chapman, I'll get your clips to you later today. Speaking of editing video. I know, I'm a slacker.
Get busy.
But
no, you're not.
But so we're gonna try to do some short form stuff. The first thing will be I'll pull the knives out of my case.
There you go.
I have this suit. It looks like a suitcase. It looked like the cleaner from from Pulp Fiction. I really do.
I was going to say.
Thing weighs like 30 pounds, and it looks like
that.
a big, thick suitcase style briefcase. Looks like I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep, But
give me the drugs.
Yeah, so I'm going to pull the knives out. We're going to do a 2-minute video. I'm going to say, okay, this is this knife, this knife, this knife, this knife, and why are they all different shapes? Why are there different metals? What are their functions? And what ones can you not do without? It's going to be a really simple video. Well, I'll start doing some other kitchen tools, spatulas, and then after that, we'll start going through cool gadgets and kitchen electronics and fun stuff like that. So.
Yeah, you talked about that
It'll be
last week a
fun.
little bit about appliances you don't need in the kitchen and things that you do need in the kitchen. That was a really good show.
That's actually tough. So on the fly, I had to come up with 5 you have to have and 5 you don't. 5 you don't's easy. But 5 you have to have, like if you could just choose 5 things, that's pots, pans, utensils, knives. I mean, wow, that's only
Knives
5?
is really, yeah, that's not very many. Who gave you that challenge?
Jeff and I, we know.
Jeff.
Yeah, So, all right, so let's ask that question. We have a few minutes left.
I do.
I mean, what is your one essential tool in the kitchen? I mean, take a knife out of it. Okay, but we have to have a knife to cut.
A good cutting
If you
board.
have one other, okay.
I have a big wooden cutting board, first off.
I had to say my real wok. I have a wok that have 2 of them. I have a real big one and a real small one. But these are not the ones you buy in Walmart. These are woks straight from Asia.
Okay.
I love them because you can do anything in this thing. You can saute, you could boil. That would be my one thing with the knife. The rest of it, keep. I'll use my fingers if I have to. I'll use that knife to stir. So
You're gonna scratch up the wall, but yeah,
scratched a lot of pans and broken a lot of tips off knives too.
Oh my gosh!
Tell you when you're in the middle of nowhere and you have no way to eat except a can of something, like you need tomato paste or something, and you use your chef's knife. You've always told yourself you wouldn't do this, but use your chef knife to open the can, and you break the tip off, and you're like, man.
Well, we took the knife out, but the knife sharpener is important too. But I need to get one of those honing steels that you talked about. I don't have one of those, but I have the other little 2 thing.
Well, you can actually, so you can replace both of those with one. They make a double-sided diamond steel,
That's what I need,
which is flat. The problem is if you use it all the time, it really starts to wear the blade down. If you have well,
the one knife that I had was
really good stainless
was lost at the World Food Championship. So when I came back, I didn't have my knife.
Mike, dude,
I need a knife. So I need a knife. I've been crying for months because my knife is gone and the one I have is.
I don't know if there's another kitchen tool that I really just a regular 6 or 8 inch chef's knife, like cracking lobster shells where the claws. I mean, you go down in the claw right behind the thumb and put a little take a chunk out of it, and then you hit it with the back of the back of the knife, the handle, while holding the blade, which I know you're not supposed to do, but
yeah.
I mean, it works for everything. I can't think of any other thing I really need. You know what? Here it is.
My sister said something, so I got to tell you what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She said Kershaw spatula.
There you go.
Kershaw spatula. Is that one you were talking about the other day?
So I have
that.
That's like a French fish spatula.
Right.
I'll
Thanks,
be honest
sister.
with you, Kershaw spatula. I'm not sure. We'll have to look that up.
I don't know. We don't know what that is.
I like like the French style saute pans, the high carbon steel stuff that they heat really quickly, really evenly. I mean, really quickly. It's 0 to smoking point with oil in like 30 seconds. They're my favorite pans. You have to take really good care of them. They're kind of heavy, but they're awesome. And I don't think not very many professional kitchens work without those. Not at the higher levels, anyway.
Well, I would just say I like to have my chef knife, a good paring knife, obviously, a good wooden spoon. I mean, I don't know. I mean, a spatula, at least one spatula. Sometimes you'll go to someone's house, you're trying to make a cake, and I'm like, because you waste a lot of ingredients if you don't have a spatula, just if you're baking or whatever.
Well, wooden spoon is one I was going to say the other day.
Yeah.
Because
for spanking too.
Oh, my mom used to do that, but yeah.
Spanking? No, you know what you spank with? It's called a flip flop. Trust me. Try it sometimes, especially them big ones.
Maybe one of them spider things. What are they called?
I'm past that stage in life. Next kids, I'm supposed to spank apart with my grandkids, and I'm going to spoil them rotten and send them home. So if and when I ever have some. No rush, children. No rush.
No
rush at all.
I don't have
please.
a rush either, and I'm like, I'm going to spoil them, and then I'm leaving. I've already raised my kids. I'm done.
One thing you wish you could have in your kitchen, like one thing, if you could have one piece of equipment, just one piece. I'm going to make you go first this time.
Slicer. I want a slicer so bad I can't stand it. And I'm going to buy one. I don't care how much they are. One day I want a slicer so bad. Ooh, because I'd love to do the meat thing. So
well, you can do carpaccio, anything, all sorts of stuff with a slicer. Who was in here? One of the chefs was on Trey's show, and he was talking about they took these escargot, And, after they're cooked, and they froze them, and they shaved them like truffles over this dish, and it kind of melted over them. And I was like, man, that's my kind of food right there. I'm following this man home. That's the fat kid you want to follow home from school.
There you go.
If you could have one thing, Darie?
Well, recently I've been really kind of wanting a turbo pot, the one that goes slow or fast, even though I don't use that all the time. Because I like to keep my kitchen appliances to a low, because our kitchen's not real large, and so we don't have a lot of storage space. I would like just a good set of pans. Well, I do have good Gotham
one
set
thing.
pans. I know.
I know one thing. It's tough, isn't it?
Well, right now I just need a knife. Really, I'm just in desperate need of a good knife, and it's just killing me because when you cook, and every time I go in that kitchen, I would like my knife. Somebody lifted my knife. I hope they cut their finger with that thing.
I'll tell you, I've a Henkel's 6-inch chef knife that works as a paring knife, and
I need
like
one
a
now.
mid-sized to large. I use it for everything.
I think sous vide.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that. That would be kind of neat to have.
All right, so that's 6 items. What's your 7th?
Okay, no, well, just put sous vide first on what I would like to have if I
So
could
she's
try
writing her
something.
Christmas list here. Okay,
Yeah,
remember that.
y'all taking notes out there? Come on.
If I could have one thing in the kitchen, really, you talked about wok. I opened a couple Thai restaurants, and they were based out of Chicago. It's called Hai Riki Asian Cafe, and so this was like Thai, Laotian, and Southeast Asian, like Singaporean street food. They were around for a long time, and it was counter service. They opened this full service restaurant in Denver. We kind of upgraded the style of service, filled out the menu. It was a beautiful restaurant, and we had those giant not the Chinese one, not the hand worked woks, but the big ones where you operate the flame with your knee.
I've seen
you wear
those
your
in
pants
Europe.
out in like 2 or 3 days. I wore a hole in my pants first 3 days I was operating, and my kneecap got all bruised up. But I'm telling you, those things have each burner is a little over 200,000 BTUs.
Oh my gosh!
You think about the average cooking stove at home has like a really hot one has 22, 23,000. I mean, you're 10 times to 15 times one burner on one wok, and most of those have 2 woks, and then you don't have to clean up your stove, right? Because it's got this water that runs down the back, and you just take that brush and you wipe it all down, and you're done. I mean, it's so cool, and you can do everything there: boil, steam, saute, stir fry.
I need a wok. I changed my mind. Talk me into it.
You got to have the kitchen for it, though. That's the thing. I don't have the kitchen for it.
I probably don't.
Maybe downstairs.
Yeah.
You definitely have to. I love it, and you can't. Like I said, this is not a Walmart type of. Not beating up on Walmart.
Yeah.
But this is. I mean, this.
The old red one. I remember those red ones.
You
that
look
were
at it,
popular.
you think, what is this thing? So someone gave me. Yeah, it's. I don't even can't even tell you what it's made out of, but I know I can tell you this. I have put this thing through everything I can think of, and it's still the same color that it was when I first got it. And a woman, we had a big a Christmas dinner and invited a bunch of people over, and this woman gave me this wok for Christmas. And when we were in the Philippines, went and bought another one, a smaller one. I loved it. Oh my goodness! You can do. I'm telling you, do anything in this thing, and the people are thinking about and looking at me like this guy's a fool. Trust me.
You can cook just about anything in a wok.
I'm a kitchen geek, and if you get one of these things, I don't think I could punch a hole through it with a hammer and a chisel.
I wonder if it's
That's how tough it is. This thing is tough.
Maybe it's cast iron. I don't know. Could be.
Yeah, it's probably. Does it rust if you don't oil it?
No.
Interesting.
Can't be cast iron.
Bring it in, we'll figure it out. Awesome. Let's see if we can burn it. So I want a set of Gotham
I'm
Steel.
not going to be here that day.
No, I want a set of the new Gotham Steel pans.
I do too. And
I want a new set because
Marvin sent me the other set last year, so I want the new ones.
I need to send an email saying, please, we'll
Hi,
highlight
Marvin,
it on
we
the
love
show.
you.
No,
Yeah.
well, and we'd love to do a giveaway, right? They have the Gotham Steel pans are great, and that new line especially.
The red one. The red, I can't remember.
Well, Mark has a new set. They're kind of green marbled, or I don't know. They call them granite
different.
colored.
Yeah.
They're kind of like this. They're speckled.
Yeah.
But I really want to try one of those and see if I don't want to burn the pan. I want to see if I can get something to stick. I don't want because I want to I want to continue using it.
Let's do it.
All right, hey, I'm going to let y'all finish the show. I'm going to go back out, operate the board, make sure everything ends correctly.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for having us on.
Thanks for coming on. I really looking forward to
Thanks for
a lot
working
more
with
shows.
us.
A lot more shows.
Yes,
We're
excited.
We're stuck. I love this. You're stuck with us.
We're stuck like a
Hotel California.
Oh no!
Can't leave now.
I'm bringing the wine.
Oh no
Anyway.
no!
Bourbon,
That's right.
Aye.
I don't know why you keep doing this wine.
I don't
thing.
know. I don't even really.
And
drink
I'm
wine
not trying to
that
beat up on the wine people. Don't get me wrong. I think when you drink bourbon, for as long as I have, it is a acquired taste. Matter of fact, we had the bourbon.
Yes, we had
last week.
That show needs to come out, and it will come out soon. We had L.C. May with Clyde May's bourbon and whiskey.
And listen,
and
when it comes
we got
out,
to sample that. That was fabulous.
Yes. When you have to listen to this story.
Right, it's a great
It
story.
is a great American story, and I say that with a capital A because I'm tired of people saying they can't do anything. And that's the one thing, whether you want to cook, whether you want to do a podcast, whether you want to be in instant media, whatever the case may be, you have to start somewhere. And like you said the other day, maybe we'll teach people how not to burn water.
Well, yeah, I would like to teach how to cook and how to make this dish. That's going to be kind of what our show is going to be focusing on most of the time. But we'll have that show out soon, and we'll post it up and tag that in because that's probably our last show that we will hopefully have to record out of studio. So you guys tune in tomorrow because tomorrow will actually be the regular time that we'll be airing, and then we'll put out the other times that it'll be repeat playing. So our regular show time is Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time here at Spoony. And then I'll let you know the rest of the schedule. So tomorrow we have on the Chili Champ, Jackie Seavey at 10 Central Standard Time. And then at 1, we have, with Patrick Mosier, we have Robert Mansfield, the Steak Champ, coming in at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you guys tune in today, too, at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. I keep saying it, but Patrick Mosier will be on with Food Biz Pro. And so tune in today and show him some loving. And you can find us on Facebook at Try This Dish Radio. I'm on Twitter at Darie_O'Connor. I may change that. I do have an Instagram too, and I need to probably do a business one. I'm also Foodie Group on Facebook. That's my consulting page. So if you need any consulting, hit me up. I'm the one that put together the whole thing for the radio media blitz for the World Food Championships. So I want to thank everyone for working with me. Thanks, Mike McLeod, for trusting me with this project. And we're looking forward to talking to these champs and getting the news out, and it's exciting. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and so I want to say thank you from Spoony Radio. Sean, Darie, thanks for reaching out first and foremost and deciding that we were worthy of the show. And everyone who's listening, whether it's your first time, hopefully not your last time, whether you've been listening since day one, this has been, it's been a challenge, not a struggle, but a challenge. Yeah. And it's been a fun one. We've had some big setbacks that were, look, we expected some, but some were just, woo, woo. We never saw it coming, just saying. Sorry, that's
live.
Sorry, Sean, didn't mean to choke you up there.
But don't say much.
But I'll tell you, we've worked very hard, very long, and we want to change the face of radio. No one's ever done this before. Yeah. 24 hours of streaming radio, talking about food, travel, and lifestyle. I mean,
I love it.
How much better does it get? Really?
It doesn't, and that's the thing. Like we said, I want to thank you and the people who put Spoony Radio and the other studios and other stations together, because I get the concept now. I've even heard people say different things about what y'all are doing. I was stuck like some of the other people in the industry. I get it now, and I'm telling you, this is the wave of the future.
It sure is.
I don't see how you can't be unless something. Only thing that could be better than this is if you had movie cameras with actresses in the background blowing up ships.
As Emerald used to say, smell-o-vision. We need smell-o-vision.
We can work on that.
I mean, I can't wait till we can do some live video downstairs.
I can't wait.
Stuff. But in the meantime, I'm going to get an induction burner, put it right up there.
Oh, don't do that.
And
let's do something.
Yeah, we'll be able to do some things on that table behind. We're going to put a little pony wall up there so it's a little more stable.
Oh,
but
nice.
We can do some really fun things. We'll put some fun stuff, collaborative stuff up on YouTube. Have a great time. And hey, if you're a host and you're going to be in this area, drop by the studios. We're right here in Haltom City. You can look us up at Spoony Radio on all social media. You can go to Spoony Facebook or the Spoony.com page. Look, you got 45 seconds left. It's all up to you. Close it out, ladies, gentlemen.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for going with us through this process of transition. So tune in and get some ideas every week on how to cook, different techniques, and some recipes, and all of the foodie news. And Sean, what are you pointing at?
I think I see Hair Dog out the window.
Oh, he thinks he's no.
That is Hair
he's
Dog out the
killing me.
window. He's in the street. Hair Dog, you got to get out. So, we really enjoyed it being here at Spoony Radio. I absolutely love being here, and thank you so much. And it's all about the food.
We'll
Always
talk to you.
remember
We'll
that.
be here tomorrow.